In this question, we need to figure out the number of words that can be formed by using the four letters of the word Mississippi. So in here, Mississippi has exactly one M, four I, right, and four S, two P. That's it. Is it? Yes. Right. So I need to make a four-letter word out of these letters that are, of course, greater than four. So the very first thing come into our mind, your mind, my mind, is actually how to select the letters. Four letters we need to select out of these letters. So how to select actually? Can I take four alike letters, four same letters? Yes. Can I take four different letters? So that means we are trying to make cases. Yes. The moment you try to make cases, don't just try to make cases randomly. Now, make your thoughts systematic, because in this particular question, if you try to make cases randomly, then you'll have fear in your mind that, am I missing anything? Am I missing any case? So, how to make sure that you're not missing any case is to actually think systematically. To think in sequence, I'll show you how. So, let's write Mississippi as 1M, 4I, 4S, 2P, and case we need to make systematically already discussed. So very first case is, let's take all the four letters alike. Let's take all the four letters alike. So very first case says, if I take all the four letters alike, that means I have only two choices, either I or S. These are the two words I'll form when I'll think about all the four letters are alike, right? So let's write down properly. One is repeated four times. That means one letter is repeated four times. So all four letters are alike, right? So number of ways of selecting the letter which is repeated four times is 2C1, which is equals to 2, isn't it? So either I'll select 4I or 4S. So two choices I have, 4I or 4S. So choices I have made by 2C1. Now I have four letters that all four are alike, that can be arranged by one way, which is 4 factorial by 4 factorial, or you can directly write one way, right? So the finally you have how many words? Two words. This is case number 1. Now I'll tell you that how to think systematically about case 2. I know you must be making cases. You can make cases, but now I have maximized the alike letters, right? Now let's reduce the alike letters. So here four alike letters are there. So let's write the next case as three alike and one different. Three alike and one different should be your case 2 in this. So gradually we'll be reducing the alike letters, or maybe gradually we'll be increasing the different letters. One and same thing, right? So three alike and one different. So case number 2, one is repeated thrice and the other letter would be repeated one. That means three alike letters and one different letters, right? So three alike. First of all, let's focus on three alike. So three alike can, of course, now again I have two choices. So I and S. I don't want four letters. I want three letters, and three alike can be taken from these two, right? So number of ways of selecting the letter which is repeated thrice is 2C1. Either 3I or 4S, right? Now three alike is sorted, one different, right? Now one is gone. Let's remove this. For example, from I and S, I have taken S. Now how many different letters you can see over here? I'm seeing M. I'm seeing I. Of course, I is not used because I have used S. If I have used S, I will use I, and vice versa, and P. So I have three different letters, right? And I want one different letters. Three different letters I want one different letters. That can be done by 3C1 ways, right? Now I have actually three alike and one different letters, right? Just like this, XXXY, right? This kind of pattern. Now I need to arrange it. Can you arrange it? Yes, I can arrange it by 4 factorial by 3 factorial ways. Why 3 factorial in the denominator? Because 3 are identical, right? So now let's just multiply 2C1, 3C1, 4 factorial by 3 factorial. And if you solve it, what do you get? 2 multiply 3 multiply 4, which is equals to 24. So case 2 is saying 24 is your answer. Now let's think about case 3 again systematically. So 1 is repeated thrice, 3 alike are there. So why not make it 2 alike? Okay, if two alike are there, rest two both can be others alike. So two alike, two others alike. Let me give you an example. So for example, you have PPSS as your selection. Two alike, two others alike. This should be your case number 3, right? Let's begin. So here is your case. One is repeated twice and the other one is also repeated twice, right? This is the case. So okay, so in this case you have to be very careful. How many actually two letters you have of similar type? So actually one M is out of this particular case. So I have actually 3 sets: I, S, S, P, P. Rest 2 I's I'm not interested in, rest 2 S I'm not interested in, right? And actually what do you want is 2 such things, right? You have 3 objects over here, 3 objects, and you want 2 objects. So in such question, always select in one go, right? The selection would be done in one go, not the 2 times, right? So 3 objects, 2 objects do you want? So 3C2 ways. In 3C2 ways, you'll be selecting all 4 letters. Do you realize this? In 3C2 ways, you'll be selecting all 4 letters. Because what is your, so 3 sets you're having 2 letters each. 2, if you select 2 objects, that means you're having 4 letters. Right now you have your 4 letters. For example, you have SSPP. Right, you have SSPP. Now you need to arrange it. 4 letters are there. 4 factorial by. Now SS 2 identical. So 2 factorial, 2 more identical, 2 factorial. Now let's just multiply 3C2 4 factorial by 2 factorial 2 factorial, just like this. If you solve this, you'll get 18 as your answer. This is case 3. Now again case 4, systematically how to think this. So 1 is repeated twice. Let's mark it as it is. Now other is repeated twice. We need to change this. Other is not repeated. So actually 2 alike and 2 different. I'll give you an example. For example, SSPM. 2 alike are there and rest 2 letters are different, right? So case 4. Case 4. So case 4 is saying 2 letters are repeated. That simply means that other 2 letters are not repeated. Okay, so 2 letters are repeated. That means you have choices. So out of these, I, S, S, P, P, you want 2 letters are repeated. So out of these 3, you want exactly one pair, right? So 3C1 ways you can do that, isn't it? Says that 1 is gone, so 2 letters are repeated. So in this 2 letters you have selected. So number of ways of selecting the letters which is repeated is 3C1. 2 alike letters you have selected. Now you have to select 2 more letters. That must be different, right? So now 1 is gone actually out of this. So for example, 4I is gone, right? So how many different letters you can see now? M, then S, and then P. 3 you can see. You want 2, right? 2 different letters. So 3C2 ways you can do it. 2 different. Selection is done. Now you have, for example, what do you have? SSPM, right? This was the example. Now you need to arrange this pattern. This pattern can be arranged in 4 factorial by 2 factorial, just that. Okay, so 3C1, 3C2, 4 factorial, 2 factorial would be your answer. If you solve this, you'll get 108. Okay, this is the case number 4. Now, can you think about this, that 2 letters are repeated, 2 are not? So let's reduce the number of alike letters and increase the number of different letters. So last case, what you can do is you can make all 4 different. Yes, that is your last case. All 4 different you want to select. That is very easy case. Case number 5. So you have M, you have I, you have S, you have P. Only one set you are having. In this particular word, you have 4 different letters only, right? 4 distinct letters. So selection, you don't have to select it. You have no choice. You have to take one M, one I, one S, and one P. You don't have any other choice. So selection is already done. That can be done by one way. You just need to arrange it, and that can be done by 4 factorial ways or 4P4. So 24 would be your answer. Now let's all 5 cases. Now let's add all 5 cases: 24, 108, 18, 24, and 2. If you add this, You'll get 176 as your answer. Final answer is 176. So let me recall one thing. We started from all alike and we gradually ended up in all different. So that's the order we have followed. You can follow all different. You can start from all different and land up to all alike. But the thoughts must be systematic. That's what I wanted to convey in this particular question. Got it? In this question, it is given that Kanchan has 10 friends among whom 2 are married to each other. That means out of 10 friends, 8 are single and 2 are forming a couple. That means one couple is there. She wishes to invite 5 of them for a party. Okay. If the married couple refuse to attend separately, obviously they will want to attend together. Then the number of different ways in which she can invite 5 friends is. Okay. So that we need to answer. Cool. So 10 friends are there. One couple is there. So 8 single are there and one couple, which makes total 10 people, right? So either we need to include 2 people, that is one couple, or we need to exclude completely both of them. That is the agenda. Okay. So how to do that? So there will be 2 cases. Case 1 says that I will select 5 people out of these 8 people, right? So 8C5, that's it. We have already excluded the couple. So 8C5, 5 people will be there. Case number 1. Or what we can do is, we'll include both person, that is one couple we are including. So that means 2 people I am taking by one way. I'll just invite, they'll come. Both of them. 2 people are already there. So how many left? How many places are left at my party? At Kanchan's party actually, 3 people. So out of these 8 people, I need only 3 people this time. So 8C3, that's it. Now or is there, that means case 1, either case 1 or case 2, that means you need to add these 2 cases. So 8C5 plus 8C3 would be there. But wait, okay, 8C5, 8C3 both have, okay, 8C5 can be written as 8C, 8 minus 5, which is 3. 8C3 plus 8C3 will be twice of 8C3. Our final answer would be twice of 8C3. Option A is the right answer. Sometimes what happens is you are getting the answer but you are not able to match the answer in PNC. So what you can do is you just modify by using already known properties, which we have done right now, isn't it? 8C5 can be written as 8C3. Don't just panic that, okay, I have solved it correctly, but the answer is not matching. Have patience. Try to modify your answer and try to answer it correctly. You'll get the answer if your logic is correct. Got it? In this particular question, it is given that if a couple dance competition happens between 7 married couples, then the number of such possible pairs that can be made such that no couple dances in the same pair. Interesting. Okay, so actually this particular question is a clear-cut problem of derangement of 7 things. Yes. So imagine the 7 women as cards and 7 men as envelopes. Now no card should go in their right place. That means no woman is gonna dance with their respective men. Right? So that is clear-cut problem of derangement. So we just need to calculate D7. Do you know the formula of Dn? Let's recall the formula. 7 married couples are there in this particular question and condition is 7 men has to be paired with 7 women such that no one pairs with his own wife. Right? And that D7 we can calculate by which formula? This formula, which is Dn is equals to n factorial, bracket open, 1 minus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial minus 1 by 3 factorial all the way up to 1 by n factorial with respective sign. So D7 will be, so these two will get obviously cancelled out. So D7 would be 7 factorial multiply 1 by 2 factorial minus 1 by 3 factorial and all the way up to minus 1 by 7 factorial. Right? If you calculate it, you'll get 1854 as your answer. So option C is the correct answer. Got it? In this question, we need to figure out the total number of ways of selecting two numbers from this set from 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 3n so that their sum is divisible by 3. Okay. So when we talk about a number, whether it is divisible by 3 or not, there are exactly 3 cases. Okay. So first, when you divide that number by 3, the remainder is what? 1. And next, when you divide any number by 3, the remainder can be what? 2. When you divide any number by 3, the remainder is 0. That means the number is completely divisible by 3. That's it. Only 3 cases. Tell me another case. Are you able to find any case? No. You'll say, okay, we'll have remainder 3. But no, we cannot have remainder 3 if remainder is 3. For example, if remainder is 3, then again you'll divide it by 3. And 3 ones are 3. And that will be what? Remainder 0, back to remainder 0. So there will be exactly 3 cases. First one is remainder 0, 1. Second one is remainder 0, 2. And third one is remainder 0, 0. Right? So what we are going to do is, there are 3n numbers. Right? So we will segregate, we'll separate the numbers depending upon the remainder. The criteria is remainder. So when you divide 1, the first number, by 3, remainder you will get is 1. Okay. So these numbers which will sit inside P, set P I'm talking about, the remainder is gonna get 1 when you divide it by 3. Yes. Next number is 2. If you divide 2 by 3, what would you get? Remainder 2. Right? 1 if you divide, remainder 1. 2 if you divide, remainder 2. So remainder 2. All the numbers which will give remainder 2 will sit inside set Q. Right? That's the agenda. And the next number in our bucket is this 3. When you divide 3 by 3, the remainder you're gonna get is 0. So P set will include all those numbers which will have remainder 1 when divided by 3. So remainder 1. This set will have remainder 2. This set is completely divisible by 3. That means remainder 0. That's the agenda. Okay, let's move on to our next number, which is what? 4. Right? When you divide 4 by 3, what do you get? Remainder 1. Right? So 4, I'll write 4 here. So 3 ones are 3 and remainder will be 1. 4, I'll make 4 sit over here in set P. Similarly, 5 over here and 6 over here. Then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and so on. And here the last number would be in set R 3n because 3n is divisible by 3. 3n minus 1 will sit over here and 3n minus 2 will sit over here. Yes. This is the set P, Q and R. So, in fact, if you carefully observe, the number of elements in set P is n. The number of elements in set Q is again n. And number of elements in set R is also n. So there are 3n numbers in total. P set is having n numbers. Q set is having n numbers. R set is having n numbers. Okay. And now we need to figure out. So this was basic thing. Now back to the question. What is question asking us? Question is asking us that we need to pick two numbers, exactly two numbers, such that if you add those numbers, the sum would be divisible by 3. Okay. So we need to make multiple permutation and combination in this particular thing. So here, if I pick two numbers from set R, right? So both numbers would be divisible by 3. So numbers would be of the form 3k plus, because 3k is divisible by 3, and 3p, let's say 3k plus 3p, because both numbers are coming from set R. Set R is having all the numbers divisible by 3. So one number is of the form 3k, where k being integer, and another number will be 3p. That means overall number will be divisible by 3. That means this is allowed. The very first case in our bucket is, we'll pick both the numbers such that both the numbers will belong to set R. Right? So first case, we'll pick both numbers from set R. Sorted. Okay. Now, okay, then can I pick both the numbers from set Q? If I talk about set Q has remainder 2, right? So the numbers are of the form 3k plus 2. Isn't it 3k plus 2? 3k then plus 2, 2 is the remainder, and 3p plus 2. Both numbers are the form, right? So 3k plus 2 and 3p plus 2 will be 3k plus p plus 4, right? And this 4 is what? 3 plus 1. So this portion is divisible by 3, but 1 is not divisible by 3. That means if you pick both the numbers from set Q, you will get 1 as the remainder. That is a bad idea. We want 0 as the remainder. So, okay, that is rejected. If you pick both the numbers from set P has which form? 3k plus 1, one number, and another one 3p plus 1. So that would be what? 3k plus p plus 2. This is divisible by 3, but this will give 2 as a remainder. That means picking both the numbers from p also is a bad idea. Not a case, rejected case. Okay. Now let's move on to thinking something different, that picking one number from set p and picking another number from set q. Can this happen? Okay. So picking one number from set P, which form is this? 3k plus 1. And another number from set Q, which form is this? 3p plus 2. Right? Set Q means 2 remainder. Set P means 1 remainder. If you add this, what you get is, okay, 3k plus P plus 3. That means overall number is divisible by 3. So our second case is picking one from set P and another from set Q. Yes. And okay, this is the second case. Let's talk about picking one from set Q and another from set R. So this is what? 3k, set R, multiple of 3, and set Q would be what? 3p plus 2. Bad idea. Not divisible by 3, it will give 2 as a remainder. Okay. So last case would be what? Picking one from P and one from R. Picking one from R will be what? 3k, and one from P will be 3p plus 1. Again, bad idea. It will leave remainder as 1. Okay. So that is the end of our discussion. Only 2 cases will give me 0 as remainder when you add both the numbers. First case, picking both the numbers from set R. Second case, picking one number from set P and set Q. That's it. Let's do that. So now we have already discussed, this is set P, this is set Q. We are picking one number each from P and Q. So how many numbers are there in set P? N. Set Q also has N. So case 1, taking one number each from P and Q. So taking one number, selecting one number from P, that means total numbers are N. Selection C. Selecting only one, NC1. And again, similarly, picking one number from set Q, NC1. So finally, you will get NC1 multiply NC1. So total number of case in first case is NC1 multiply NC1, which is what? N square. This is what? N multiply N, which is N square. The second case, picking both the number from set R, which has how many elements? N elements. So that will be done by what? What? NC2. Selecting two numbers from set which is having N elements, NC2, and that would be equal to what? N minus 1 by 2. Right? So either case 1 is true or case 2 is true. That means we are gonna add these two things. If we do that, we'll get what? This. N square plus N minus 1 by 2. Sorted. If you solve this, so finally you will get 3n square minus n by 2. So finally, option B is the correct answer. Got it? In this question, it is given that we have a convex polygon which has 35 diagonals. Then we need to figure out the number of triangles in which exactly one side is common with that of polygon. Okay. So very first thing is 35 diagonals are there and we don't know how many sides or how many vertices of this polygon, how many vertices of the polygons are there. So suppose n sides or n vertices are there, right? N sided polygon is there and this polygon is having 35 diagonals, right? So what do we know about the number of diagonals of any polygon? So any polygon having n sides has, or n vertices, has total number of diagonals is nc2 minus n. Here nc2 is the all the number of lines formed by those endpoints minus n, because we don't want to count the number of sides. We are just interested in the number of diagonals. So this is very, very important. To calculate number of diagonals, we don't have a direct formula. We need to count all the number of lines, straight lines formed by endpoints, and we need to subtract just the sides such that the sides is gone. Now the diagonals is left. nc2 minus n. nc2 minus n is equals to 35. This will be our equation, right? And this equation will give me the value of n, isn't it? So here nc2 minus n will be 35. nc2 you all know, n minus 1 by 2. Let's put the value. If you solve this, you'll get the value of n, which is equals to 10. Let's do that. N square minus n minus 2n is equals to 35. So 70 is there, right? N square minus 3n minus 70 is equals to 0. So n minus 10 and n plus 7 is equals to 0 would be there. So minus 7, obviously n cannot be equals to negative. So n equals to 10 would be your answer. That means this particular polygon is having 10 sides just like this. So this seems a beautiful polygon. Now as per the question, the language which is written in the question says that exactly one side should be common to the side of polygon. Exactly one side. So suppose I select this particular side, right? So for one side we have made it common. We need to make sure the other side cannot be common, right? With the this particular polygon, right? That simply means that if I select A10, A1, A2 are two vertices. I need the just third vertices. A10 if I'm selecting, then the triangle will look like this. But I don't want that two sides should be common with triangle and polygon, isn't it? So that simply means A10 cannot be our third vertices, and similarly A3 cannot be. So how many vertices can be possible? A4 can be possible, because if you draw a triangle, you can see exactly one side is common, right? So A4 can be the answer. A5, A6, A7, A8, A9. Just these two cannot be your answer. So if you fix one side A1, A2, you have 6 options, right? Now corresponding to A2, A3. Now if you select A2, A3 as your one common side, then you cannot select A4 this time, you cannot select A1 this time, but you can select rest 6. Again, 6 options you have. That means for each and every sides, mind it, you have 10 sides. For each and every sides, you have 6 options for third vertices, right? That simply means that 10 multiply 6, that is equals to 60 such possible triangles are possible. 60 such triangles are possible, isn't it? So 60 is your answer. Let's write down neatly. Total number of triangles which exactly one side common with that of polygon is equals to 10 multiplied 6. 10 means number of sides. 6 means vertices, the possible vertices corresponding to each side, right? So finally you are having option B, 60 as the correct one. Got it?